Balthasar Burkhard, born 1944 in Bern, was an apprentice photographer with Kurt Blum. In the 1960s and 70s, he worked closely with exhibition organizer Harold Zeeman. Since the 1980s, Balthasar Burkhard's large-scale black and white photos of the human form and his landscape pictures have been exhibited in galleries and museums around the world. I don't photograph landscapes, says Balthasar Burkhard, but something else that is there, that triggers my emotions, a feeling. Whether it is a city or a natural landscape is of no importance, nor whether he is taking pictures in the Klern Valley near Glarus, where the last alpine maples in Switzerland grow, or in Rio Negro. He doesn't define his work as adhering to the long tradition of landscape photography. More formative for him in the 60s and 70s were land art and arte povera. Yet Balthasar Burkhard does not want to be a photo artist. I am a photographer, he says. Sad landscape pictures with telegraph poles, says Burkhard regarding his first exposures taken in 1952, when he was in the second grade. His father had given him a camera to take on a school trip. It was also his father who suggested that his son become a photographer. He set me on the right track, which has continued right up until today. Securing evidence. In 1963, the Alp Report was awarded the Swiss Confederate Scholarship for Applied Art. My first photographic book I bought as an apprentice was The Americans by Robert Frank. Also at that time, Jakob Tukener was very important for me. But I never aspired to taking pictures as they did. You just can't become Robert Frank. You have to discover for yourself where your talent lies. I always have a compass with me. I know where the sun comes up and where it goes down. I know that in the desert you have 2 hours in the morning and again late in the evening. But the morning light in the desert is much more precise than the evening light. A picture is not created when you take the photo, he says, but beforehand in your head. I don't spend a year walking on glaciers. I had never been in the desert before I took pictures there. Burkhard says he imagines the picture and then looks for it. Because he has such a clear idea about the picture, it is very important that he works on the photos himself in the darkroom.
10, 20.
For me, photography is simply black and white. When I started, color photography was something exclusive, expensive. He still works today in the way he was taught, using what he calls the photographer's alphabet. He is able to apply the developer himself, making it harder or softer accordingly. He rarely crops his images. Whatever is on the negative is in the picture, and he does not use different exposures. I take just one picture, and that's it, he says. Balthasar Burkhard's projects are extremely expensive. They can be compared to setting up a film production. Without sponsors, they cannot be financed. The photographer carried the idea of the city pictures around with him for 20 years before it could finally be realized. USM made it possible for him to travel. He had made prestigious advertising for the furniture manufacturer. Since 1997, he has created a series of city pictures, aerial photos, first from European big cities and then from megacities, as Burkhard calls them. Mexico City, Los Angeles, Chicago, Tokyo. The project had to be stopped. Today it is very difficult to get permission. He definitely wants to do Mumbai. The decision on the relevant application is long overdue.
Das Rund ein bisschen abheben. Rechts und hier links. Oh, da kann man es machen, oder? Oder? Ja, schön, was? Schön, ne? Schön da. Ist gut, ne? Häppchen ein bisschen.
Home is where I am, and that can be anywhere. In the south of France, in the country, or in a big city like Chicago. I don't like to travel. I like being in places. And I have to be doing something there, working on a project. The places that I choose have a very specific effect on me.